We're going up, up, up to the Upper Marae, where stories lift and voices fly. Put your tea towels down, let your worries fade. Open the gates, let the memories cascade. In this podcast world, we give it our best. So grab your cup or come say hi, no jest. We're going up to the Upper Marae, where conversations flow and spirits can't lie.
Welcome to the Upper Marae with me, one of your co-hosts, Dr. Alexander Stevens II. In this evening's session, our final podcast for Samoan Language Week, it is an absolute privilege to have one of my dear friends, Pulotu Bruce Levi, with me. Bruce, malo lava.
Talofa lava, Dr. Alexander.
It's good to see you, my friend. It has been a while.
Yes, it has.
Far too long.
Yes, far too long. And thank you for the biscuits and the lovely coffee.
You're welcome.
You asked about the coffee and it was perfect. And I'm finishing your third biscuit that's being placed here. Hundreds and thousands, which is a general favourite for everyone.
Are you ready to go?
Yes.
Help our listeners understand who you are. Give us a background of who you are.
So I was born in Samoa, Motutu Hospital. Rokama o Weka, Yona Levi, so Merinu o Apia. So he was from Apia, but he was also from Savai.
Right.
So Apia is in Upolu, and in Savai from Papasatawa, which most people might have heard. Judith Collins, the MP, has said my husband is from Papasatawa. And my mother, Tina or Susana Levi, or Ni McCarthy. She was a McCarthy family. And she's from the island or villages of Mauga.
Yes.
Currently where they're residing and they're post-retirement, my mum and dad. And Tofusi. And and so I was they migrated to New Zealand in 1974.
Right.
And so brought up in South Auckland. Ngami atu to our Punui, our surrounding awa, and to Mangere Bridge, my Nukunuko Hoturoa, Te Moana, kind of places of wellness, growing up, and the maunga, Matuku today, Te Maunga, these places of wellness surrounding me, growing up as a child in South Auckland, going to Manuia High, and
what did you think about the recent news about them closing?
So Manuia High was a big school back then, 2,500.
That was bigger than Otahu College. I think they had 1,500 when I was there, so it's bigger than them.
Yes, I thought I did stick up for them, and I just say, and someone said, "Oh, see, our teachers wouldn't even want to go there." Or something. It was a De La Salle, and I knew had noted that.
I also gone to De La Salle as well, so.
And I said, "Hey, that's my school." I think it's just part of the change.
Yeah.
Part of the reflecting what teachers are going through, and they do it hard. So I know you're a education man, and so
I'm switching
ins and outs, and you'll love the transition for you as well.
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
Being surrounded by these accolades and your recent Masters of Education and Education Leadership with distinction. Well done, Alex.
Thank you. I mean, for context, we both worked together at the Gambling Helpline. Shout out to Lifeline.
Yes, and you were studying then.
I was studying then, that's right.
Were you doing your Masters then? I was doing some papers as well. No, actually, I might have just finished.
Is that with Helen, Dr. Helen Warren?
So Helen was my...
who was and is my mentor and also helped me with my own Masters at AUT.
So I knew Helen Warren when I was doing a Madura diagnosis. So obviously I did my schooling in Manuia High. I wanted to be a doctor.
As in a... Medical doctor. Right.
But I fell in love with psychology. So
that's
my
right.
undergraduate is in science, Bachelor of Science Psychology. It resonated with myself. And so this is how I came into the field of mental health and addictions. Wow. And I landed a role in the addictions team called PIDAS, Pacific Island Drug and Alcohol Services, which is, I think they might have folded. But they were one of the first few Pacific services in Aotearoa. Wow. Under the auspices, or the captain of that team was Edward Talanoa. So he was a Pacific psychologist.
Wow.
Great team in there. And then I transitioned to the DHB and we helped set up the Pacific Addictions team, Tupu.
Yes.
Tumbu. And Fiji is tumbu, and other ethnic groups of Pacific is tupu, which means growth.
Yes.
Or king.
Right.
Growth king, and I guess it's based on the strengths-based model of a new, of a coconut, and young people coming through, or people coming through, and hopefully growing as we facilitate their growth and recovery out of addictions. And that whole working with people's recovery kind of led me down to leading teams and mental health teams, going into Pacific health spaces. Recently in addictions and mental health, and now back in Pacific Health down in Te Maruataki.
Nice.
And in Waikato, based in Waikato. Yeah.
So you've actually done quite a lot within that health span. Talk to me about your Matai title. So you're the third. Now, I made a mistake. I thought it was just Ravi that had the title, but Andrew does too, and I've got to get back to him. But talk to me about what does your title mean and responsibilities.
What does it mean? So this is a question I asked my parents, when I was first asked about this bestowment of this title through my mum's side. And I asked my dad, and I said, because I spoke to some of my colleagues who had been offered, but they said they'd like to talk fluently in Samoan before they take on something like that. And I kind of discussed with my parents, and they did say it's more around serving your family. Right. So language was one thing, but serving and also having, I guess, for future generations, kind of trying to future-proof access to, I guess, family resources, and namely the whenua, or the land in Samoa, so that Mum felt that she wanted her grandkids to be able to walk through the village with ease and freedom, and rather be said, who are you? What's this? And the Matai system is very strong in reinforcing kind of those who are seen as foreigners and those who belong to the village.
I see.
And so it's customary land, so you don't actually own it. You only look your kaitiaki or your guardian for it. You look after it for a while, and so that helped, enabled my mother and dad to have a piece of land in Samoa, and it helps if you've got a Pulotu title, right? Because only Pulotu or people of Pulotu are allowed to live in that part of the area of Marae Malu.
Does it have a transliteration or a close to?
Pulotu, the Pulotu is actually lots of meanings. Pulotu, some people say, pre-Christian times, it referred to the afterlife, or reference. It's like when you go into the water that comes through the blowholes, and they say they refer to that as an archaic word of Pulotu. It's like the water that's stuck in there, ready to shoot through to the next side. Wow. Pulotu also means pu means boom, and lotu is church. So the church, the expansion of the explosion of church into Samoan life, which Samoa Fai Fai Pea is founded on God. So I think Pulotu also reinforces that thinking. But yeah, it's an old name, and you bring it into this context. For me, I suppose it connects to family ties more than anything. And for my mum, it's her mother, or her grandmother. Her name is Whanawhale.
Right.
Which we know, her brother Carl, who had introduced the health framework. Yes. Whanawhale. So it's her land. It's her father's land that had gifted to the Pulotu, that you can stay here. And so even that connection, I think, for my mother, ensuring that we're able to live there. So they've got a house there, and they've been, that's part of their retirement. And when they get a bit unwell, they'll come back to the mainland, or to either Melbourne or to New Zealand. At this stage, is Melbourne, and then they'll shoot back there again when they're feeling better.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so that's Pulotu. But beautiful. I like the Kokalan and the Maori version of Pulotu, which is beautiful. So it's the name that's been used. You can hear, that song.
Oh yes. And so what you're talking about is that whakapapa that exists between us, nice. As Polynesians.
Yes.
I've just finished doing a Pacific Methodologies paper, and I've had to
Okay.
gently remind our Pacific that Māori are Polynesian. We just happen to be tangata whenua, but you're tangata moana,
Yes.
and then we are cousins of the waves.
Yes.
So,
I love it.
You know, and so where I'm from, up north, our marae acknowledges all the ancestors that came from Tonga, Samoa, Cook Islands, especially through Takitimu, because that was carved in Samoa, went to Raro, and then from Raro, so Tonga is often used as the word south.
Yes.
So Takitimu was one of the canoes that was made in Samoa that went to Raro. Then Tonga came to the Cook Islands, and then they all travelled Tonga down to New Zealand.
Gotcha.
One of the things that I also talk about when I was at the Lavar conference last year, just acknowledging this is your podcast, not mine, but quick Talanoa, quick story.
Good.
So Mount Smart Stadium wasn't always known as Mount Smart Stadium. Its original name was Manga Rarotonga.
Oh.
And so when our ancestors would ask, where did we come from? We would say we came Tonga, we came south from Rarotonga. Then when people would ask, you know, the next generation would say, where did we come from then? So it's from Rarotonga. Then we came from Samoa, Tonga, Niue. And so
beautiful.
It's unfortunate that the name's now Mount Smart, but I am working with some of my friends to see if we can restore it back to its original name and then make sure that people are reminded that as Māori, we are part of Polynesia and this is our descendants. But we keep that pūrākau, that story up north, and we remind our Pacific cousins, you are part of us.
But that connection with Mount Smart with the warriors, I remember when Tainui had
True.
I mean, that's it,
brother.
And but they were reinforcing kind of the warrior like qualities, but you know, it's like anything. There was a business decision, and similar to what we're hearing now with Moana Pacifica, that was bought by Pacific Medical Association, and I think that's been let go. So, but yeah, coming back to what you're saying, it's
all connected by the tides. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I love that that other term, the Te Mono Nui Kiwa.
Yes.
Where it is actually our connections is through the water.
Absolutely. And we can see that with Matariki and Matariki being reborn back into the islands as well. So, you know, how New Zealand reintroduced it, and that's now being brought back to areas like Tahiti.
Yes.
And being spread around again. So I think what we're seeing is a revitalisation, not only our languages, but also cultural practices as well. So given that, my friend, what does Samoan Language Week mean to you and your whānau or ainga?
It's, so to tell you the truth, this year I had got a team, and normally we would come together and organise it. But I think you strip away all that. But we did do some activities, and it's I think it's for me it is bringing it back into the focus for a moment or for a week. You know, everyone talks about these languages should be celebrated every day, and of course being Samoan, well, I can't be not Samoan one day, and I'm Samoan forever, right? So it's similar like these languages, but it does encourage one to reflect on one's competency in languages, and so I always hop back to what I learned. So I actually went to oratory classes under Pena. It was going for a while. I'm not too sure. They call it anganu, and so I'd learned some. We'd done some or activated some classes at Levar,
right?
And so a group of us leaders would come in and learn for a while. So I still remember some of those things. So when Samoan Language Week comes up, I go back to what do I remember, and I'll bounce it out. And sometimes I'll share it with my kids. I'll share it with my colleagues when they go, "Hey, he's going to open up." I kind of pretend I need this much, but so I think it brings a bit of focus on the language, but it does bring focus on the fear, brings focus on the qualities of being Samoan, and even I love the words of the what's his name? We Are Samoa by
Whanana Jeremy Gray.
Jeremy Gray, yes.
Yeah.
Banana, that's the same title as
Efeso.
So Banana. So Jerome Grass. Sorry, Jerome. Yeah, I should know that. And he what do you call it? Into Waikato we have 33,000 Pacific,
right,
compared to 120 in counties, and and at that 33,000, half of that is in Waikato, so it's 15,
Right.
and then maybe half of that would be Samoan. So you got 7,000 Samoans in Waikato,
Wow.
sprinkled across. Waikato is quite a big place.
It sure is.
And so something like Samoan Language Week in a place like Waikato Hospital would still be a novelty, you know. Wouldn't be we do this all the time. It'll actually be a quite new thing. So I think that's what Samoan Language Week means for me as well. The opportunity to share.
Yeah.
Share our whiwhia and our vibrancy and the alofa of being Samoan. They're sharing our food, people to taste our sapusui and our kekepoas and our panikeke, and which a few of those things are probably hybrids of other ethnic groups like our Chinese and our Germans.
That's where you get the archows and all of that whānau in there too.
Yep.
Some of them used to own the Otara post office actually with the archows. You could just see them and look, they're definitely our Chinese Samoan.
Yes. Ahings.
Yes.
The ahois or alos.
Yes.
And I know for some of the Samoan families, especially our generation, are trying to go back to the original Chinese, because they made it more Samoan when they came to New Zealand. Because I think that there was kind of a, unfortunately, a class order in the.
Yes, there was active racism. Where our Chinese were treated worse than Pacific. You know, yes.
So they had to, if they were Li, then they'll put an O to make it Loi or something. So some of them are wanting to find out and they're actually going back to China with the original forefathers and then seeing what the name was and then
bringing it back,
which is cool, you know. So that's for me another Samoan is and it also brings a banter between the Samoans. You know, it's a chance for them to, I guess, be seen in their places and there is a lift in the morale. You see people. I had it. You coming to this event this week. I can't make it, but I can get to this other event, and because of Teams and technology, there's lots of pre and post banter from the event. With lots of humor, lots of laughter, and that's cool. That's what it means for me.
Well, you spoke about having children, so why is it important to keep the Samoan language alive for future generations?
I think, regardless, there's always a curiosity of who you are, and I think it's always good to know who you are, so that if your kids ask questions, they have some answers. And it is tough. I know I've seen some people don't know which villages they're from.
Yeah, I see.
Because their family either not wanting to disclose or can't disclose because they don't know, and so it is a huge gap. And I know one family who just in ethnic wise represents the Tongan flag so strongly in their bedroom, but their dad doesn't know which village they're from. But they know their dad is Tongan. But they feel Tongan, and so I think for someone, especially my kids, I'm married to a Palangi, and she's so wonderful. She cooks Samoan food better than me. She cooks mean sapusui.
Yes, childhood sweetheart. From memory.
Childhood sweetheart. Yes.
30-year marriage.
Yes, everyone calls me credit snitcher. She was 14 and I was 16, so we were like just friends.
So you both at Manuia. I remember the story. Go on.
And so, but we were at the same church, at the same youth, and man, it was like, and she'd grown up doing kapahaka, so she had an interest in things cultural, and so our boys, who are both, all three of them, actually two of them, were in the Samoan group. You know, their expression within a grammar school like Auckland Boys, where and their close friends are Samoan.
Right.
They're still a minority within that boys' school, but they were able to find friends, and they even to this day they're still quite connected. They'll learn little phrases and have some interest. But I think, when they went to Samoa, we went for the first time, and they talked about, there's studies on this, genomic studies around, because they've never been there. They said, Dad, this feels like home. So it was this kind of really,
I see.
What do you call it?
Connection or
connection. It was, what do you think? When it's something that's really real.
See, I would call that a wairua moment.
Yeah,
But there
moment. Yeah.
where you just
Yeah.
you don't know how, but you feel it, you sense it, you know it.
They see it. It just feels like home, but they've never been here.
Wow.
And so there's something about in the DNA that has those memories. And we know about in the DNA around trauma being carried.
Yes, same thing.
Same. So there's some good things that also get.
Yeah, that's great to remember that too.
Yeah. So I also get that as well, growing up. And then there's a point in your life as you get into your teenage life, you can go, wow, those things that I might have run away from.
Yes.
My parents were part of that generation where speaking English was a protective factor. And now they want us to learn Samoan because they now live in a village where the English is very second language,
Right.
So to be able to come back to the village and communicate in Samoan, that would be a good thing. So I know it's easier growing up younger to learn these things, but I think it's important to kind of sow those seeds of positive regard for our culture, regardless of, we talk about the whakalavi that can cause lots of financial burden and what people go through to maintain a certain level of pride and status. And we do talk Talanoa about that.
Yes.
But for some people, they go back to type because that's what they're comfortable with. That's what makes them feel better. So who are we to judge about certain practices that will cause people to go into debt?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see that. You worked in that space, with
still doing on lots of levels.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's for me, it's important for our children to be able to know at least where I was born. I wasn't born here. I was born in Samoa, which island? Upolu in Pulotu Hospital. So that's the kind of their main hospital there.
Right.
And that when they go back, there's some connection.
Yes. Yeah.
So connection is important for me.
Beautiful. Now, as I've been doing this podcast, I've been remembering one of my earliest memories of some Samoan words that I've learnt growing up.
Yes.
So obviously at primary school, at Chapel Downs Primary, it was Sa Vale Vale, right?
Yes,
so that was the first time.
Yes.
And then when I grew up, the second word was Papa.
Yeah.
Which,
the food.
yeah.
Good.
Then Salu.
Which also Papa is like bang. It's like Papa. Or maybe, but I used to think it was kind of like Onomatopoeia Pea for sound for explosion.
Yes.
Papa.
Yeah. I do like a good onomatopoeia. Yeah.
So Papa.
Like blob, but it sounds like the thing.
So
that you are
like
describing.
An explosion. Like Papa. And then there's the food Papa, which is a kind of a doughy texture, but I love it with coconut in there.
Yes.
We can slice, put it in the microwave and butter it.
Right. Well, when you were talking about panakeke, I was thinking, that's cool. Yeah. So I'll interweave that with the papa. Then salu, because our next door neighbours were Samoan before the Tongans moved in, so they like grab that salu, and I was like, oh dear.
Salu's
Yeah.
Yes.
And then my other one was afakasi, because the other neighbours before that, that's how they identified. Yes. So what's the fifth word that I should be thinking about, brother? Is a phrase or word that everyone should learn.
It's a long word, but I think it's an important word. Fa'a alo alo.
Fa'a alo alo.
Yeah, fa'a alo alo. It's a bit of a tongue twister when you're trying to put those together. That's why I separate it. Fa'a, to be, alo alo, respectful, to have respect.
Yes.
And I think that's what you'll see in our Pacific people in their psyche. And you try and bring out their kind of confidence without looking like you're not being humbled. Yes. So that's been a bit of a journey for myself and
how do you manage that though, Bruce? Because wrong one, you're Bruce. Ravi in his previous podcast said that sometimes non-Pacific or non-Māori can often take advantage of that humility that Pacific people demonstrate in respect, and I've often thought that it is true. Where I work at AUT, our Pacific colleagues are very respectful, and sometimes I think that can be misconstrued for being the nice guy. So I often think, how do you manage being both respectful but also firm? Because that's been your leadership style as long as I've known you. How do you manage? How do you wrestle within those two worlds of Wha Samoa as well as Palangi? Yeah,
I've had to acknowledge it and literally verbalize it to my colleague or the person I was speaking to. Just saying, hey, I find this really hard to bring it because I really respect
see.
authority, whether it's to my whewhiao, my pastor, or to I think my pastor, I'm probably a little bit more transparent with him,
Right.
and because even in the church life, there can be also a respect for authority flows through through everywhere. Respect for your parents, honoring your parents is a commandment in the Bible. However, there's a point where there's a point you make a decision where it's going to be detrimental to your health, or to, I guess you call it not tino rangatiratanga, what's the other word?
Sovereignty.
Yeah, what's the other term? Doing decisions that actually impact well on your well-being.
Yeah, to lift your mana.
Mana motuhake.
Yes, mana
So
motuhake.
if there's not been mana motuhake, then there's you make those calls. But everyone's different. Every family has a tolerance for, and some people would say on your appearance regardless if they abuse you or bash you, because that's all they know. So I there's a certain point of being able to protect yourself, also respect yourself as well, have boundaries, and know what are the limits and what you should accept and what you should allow your children to accept. So I do verbalize, hey, I'm finding this hard to really tell you this, and because I don't want you to be offended, and you know me, I would never call out things. So I usually kind of start off my conversation with that person, and they know that in my role I have to call out these things. We need some performance. We need some. We've got metrics. We've got measures to get to, and it's all part of being the wider team, and makes it harder for me. We're having to go down this road again, reminding what our expectations are and whatnot. So people know that it's not necessarily something I enjoy doing,
right?
But it's part of the, particularly in my role.
Yes.
Now, and
so
it's still a challenge.
Yeah, I bet. So hit me one more time. That the word is
fa'a alu alu.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
Fa'a alu alu. Yeah.
One of the words I do like is tulo. Is that how you say it?
Tulo?
Yeah.
Yeah, tulo.
Break this word down for me too,
it.
because I often hear it, especially when people. But there have been a few meetings that I've had with you where people will bow if they have to cross.
That's it.
Over. So, in what way does that kind of cross over to respect? What's it? Is it?
Tulo,
do you know what I mean?
Tulo is definitely an awareness of your space.
Right.
So if you got your back to someone, that's usually disrespectful. Oh, tulo.
Right.
It's like aroha mai,
with you.
Mai,
Gotcha.
Tulo, or you're gonna say something that's not. So if you say you're gonna say something like toilets, you would preface it with tulo or aro, and then they're not gonna be jarred as much. You'll still probably get jarred by the word you say. But anything that you think might bring disrespect, you'll preface it with the word tulo. Or when you're walking past someone and tulo. Sometimes it can't be helped. I remember my parents, I'd be in their living room, my kids were little, and they're walking past, and I tell them, hey, say tulo. And then my parents go, it's okay, because they'll be saying it 20 times every time. and that was a good reminder. I said, yeah, how often do you say tulo when it's, and because that was straight away growing up as a parent, wanting to, I guess, reinforce with my kids, and then my parents kind of peppering it with kind of moderation, like, hey, they're gonna say tulo 23, they get to say it once. I was like, oh, that's good. No one told me.
Yeah, there's like an etiquette.
Yeah, etiquette, and so many times. So tulo is a great word. Tulo's good. I remember using it last week, walking past, because when you go past the classroom, the kids are sitting down, and most of the time they're sitting down and you're walking past. So yes, I remember saying that straight away, and it came out of nowhere. And I think it's because, one, I didn't know them, they didn't know who I was, and just showing respect. The
other word that I'm really liking at the moment is va.
Yes.
Right. So at the moment, in my academic capacity at AUT, I'm talking about how wa, which is our version of time and space, we don't use that as much.
Yeah.
But when I'm in our Pacific cousins, they use va all the time, right? Talking about space.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I'm writing about is that I think we've replaced wā with wairua to mean not only spirituality but the space in between, when actually the Māori word is wā. So one of the words I've been really loving and looking into its original meaning, of course, is vā.
Yes.
Which is space and time. Any thoughts about that from a psychological perspective?
Oh no, absolutely. I think when I heard the term vā being kind of explained by
Enderman.
It was Carl Pulotu Enderman, but also Tino Pereira, Whamatuenu. He was kind of Lava's like matua or cultural kind of intelligence, and we did a conference where he had explained the vā, and I think you get it straight away. And you get it straight. And so an example of that is when your parents, not so much, my parents were awesome, but when you're having to offer Fai love you, right? So envelope for someone who's passed away, and we go, oh, but they weren't even family. But the vā was close, was tight.
Yes.
So they talk about that all the time. The vā, we're close to them, and so it's also an emotional thing. The vā can be emotional for someone who's not even related, but how they made you feel, how they made your family feel. So this person might have served the family, and so the vā with this person.
Yes.
And so you wouldn't necessarily equate. So I think the vā also. I think I could be out of place here, but actually, when I think about it,
well, let's find out by either the compliments or the complaints that people make from this podcast. So go, brother.
The vā would dictate, not necessarily how much goes in the envelope,
right?
And I think it's like anything, how you feel about that person that's passed on. You get someone who's a leaving ceremony, they got big ass envelope, and so that's not actually a good indicator, because I realize it's
no, but
people. Sometimes you don't understand why people give about someone that we go, there's not even related, but the vā was real tight with that person. Yeah.
I was thinking about some of the work that we did when we switched from gambling to Lifeline, and there were 2 suicide calls, and when I remember, he was standing on the train track, and I could hear the train coming.
Yes.
So when I think of vā, in that moment, I had to find a way of connecting with him instantly in that space.
Yeah. Beautiful.
If I could try to think of an example, and say, I don't know who you are, but I'm here with you right now. I need you to step off. And I remember I heard the sound of the train, and there were a few seconds where my heart, he's like, are you still there? Have you hung up? And I was so angry afterwards. I was like, okay. But in that moment, I think if I understand what you're saying, in that moment, it was like I had to try to find his vā, and get there as fast as possible to say, I've got that connection. Now is that kind of an example of vā?
Like if we were to look at the equivalent as that rapport.
Yes.
And what kind of rapport you have with that person, and vā goes deep. And to the point where it's probably not necessarily a reciprocal. It's deep to like what you did just there and then was a life and death that you had to get into the vā of that person, and they get a sense of trusting you. And they didn't know you, but what tools you're going to use and what techniques and strategies. Oh, it's a cool concept.
Yeah,
right?
And that's what I'm doing in terms of wā and reintroducing it back. So what I'm saying is that wā and wairua, time and space and spirit, are siblings. That they coexist together. One opens, the other flows.
Yes.
And then together, this is how we move from one space to another. Another thing that you've just reminded me, so let's just check in another Samoan word was wha lava lava. So my question is, where does mea alofa come into this? Because this was an interesting thing that I've often thought about when I was in the financial capability space, not understanding those 2 concepts, but they sound like siblings.
Yeah.
Are they?
To tell you the truth, I was, when I think about what wha lava lava can do, and mea alofa is kind of, they can be connected. Actually, most of the time they're connected because in the Fai Fai Pea space, it's usually around an event that requires contribution of the pooling of resources.
Yes.
Yeah. So whether it's a funeral, a wedding, birthday, or whatnot, and or a building church, people pour their resources, and usually there's a target. I was protected somewhat from my parents because they'd gone through a journey of that.
Right.
But we understood when we did put our money or contribute, it was an important thing.
Yes.
So mea alofa is usually the description of the gift that you will give. So mea, or that's something. Alofa is love. So it's a love gift or love, something that you will be giving to the mea alofa. This is the love gift that we give to this person to show our love. So whaalawalawe is seen as something that can be burdensome,
right?
Because it requires the pulling of finances, which not everyone has, And for some people, they would go, as you did the financial literacy with some of our families, how do they break out of the cycle of having to go into debt to maintain, to show love?
Yes, and that was some of the challenges that we did. How did we support so that loan sharks, if I could use a different, weren't considered the norm? They could find other ways of saving, budgets, that kind of thing. Anyway, insurance, and so that they didn't get themselves into debt in the first place. Like say a car accident, for example. That if they had insurance, they wouldn't have to club together. Yeah. They could have this other system. Yes. I mean, in a sense, regardless of Māori and Pacific, if you think about insurance, people would normally kind of work together to pour, as you say, pour resources together. Yeah. So in a sense, that kind of is an insurance in play. It's just a different kind compared to our Western traditions. Yeah, that's it. I didn't think we were going to go through so many words, brother, but that was pretty cool. I haven't done that with the other. No,
it's a big one, Because mea alofa, how big is your love? It can be sometimes indicated by how much you give. Yes, and I think that is the challenge for our communities. Yeah,
it's also a good Bee Gees songs too. How deep is your love? Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. So exactly. It's a So it's an ongoing. It's a good. I was going to say good burden. It's a good thing to have that keeps people talking. Yes. So in our Pulotu, we give mea alofa for someone who's passed away. Usually an email sent out, hey, we're going to give this much. Usually it's already described as to how much, but sometimes we might, there might be like a family member that might be distantly related, and we haven't necessarily got a policy on that. I see. So like not related, but it's distantly and really, but the va is somewhat close to our family. So I think it's communication, transparency. Some people write in a policy. We've got a policy on if a close one passes away, this is how much is given. If it's a parent, this is how much is given. If it's someone's, But you can't, as they say, you can't legislate.
Yes.
For love. So, and that's where you have to talk. This one we do want to give a bit more because they did this. The bar was, and not everyone agrees, and that's where the tension helps with. It's like anything. It's an ongoing part of life. For our community, and then when it's your turn, your family appreciates it.
They remember.
They go, we know other people are struggling to put this. They've now gifted to us. We were part of gifting to others. Yes. And so we're now recipients of that love, and they appreciate that. Yeah.
It's a beautiful example of bringing all those words into one example. Brother, we've got 3 questions, so let's smash this out. Yeah. How does speaking Samoan make you feel connected to your own culture?
It does. It makes you feel connected. So speaking Samoan does help you feel connected. Helps you educate a little bit more around the understanding. So I'm not fluent myself. I try and practice it a little bit here and there. Got some phrases that I use. Those phrases I like. Fa manuia le atua, I love that one because it's God bless. Right. Fa manuia, it's like blessing. Le atua is God. That's a cool thing to just bless. And we can throw those terms around in Balangi. Bless you, which is cool. But in Samoan, even I think there's a richness, and the bar is a bit deep. And if you understand it as a recipient, then it's even it can be quite a surprise. Oh, okay. And I even put that in my emails to professionals who And it's usually deeper. Yeah. Our usual words that we would pertain to a loved one, we actually use it in our colleagues or family members, or even distant. So alofa atu we use. Tongans say ofa atu.
Yes.
Usually in that mood, but with love, you know. So it gives you much full expression for things that are not as a little bit more, not mundane, but kind of your milk for around,
right?
You know, comments or things that you only pertain to your own family.
Yes.
So it gives you permission to connect with others. So it's important. It's important for me, the connection with the language.
Yeah, I feel it as I'm listening to you. What are some traditional Samoan values that are carried through language? In fact, we've given lots of examples.
Yeah. I think the biggest one's respect. The biggest one is, even Jerome Gray's, that's an old song, but Teach the World Humanity. I used to think, that's a bit of but that is so needed in the work that we do, where everything's around metrics and whatnot. Humanity aspects so important. So, and that's what we bring as Pacific, as Samoan. Humanity is not a new word, but obviously, how do you portray a song of who we are as Samoans? You know, by Nana Jerome Gray.
Yes.
I think people get it when you say teach the world humanity. How can Samoans teach the world humanity? But I think there is something that we do offer as a people, as a collective. Yeah, it's a gift that we give that keeps giving. We're unsolicited sometimes. There's enough advice, Bruce. Yeah.
Yes.
There's enough. Thank you for your opinion. No. But no, I think that's genuinely a cool thing that we can as Samoans bring in the arts.
Yes. Well, like Black Grace is a good example.
Yeah, Black Grace. Even as I said, the maestros of tattooing, our tufungas, you know, they're very humble, but they reinforce a skill set that's passed through generations, passed through the bloodlines, and literally bringing blood out.
Yes, true.
For a permanent expression of that for that person. Not just Samoans, but right across. But there's some cool things that they stay humble about, but they could be considered maestros elsewhere.
Yeah,
you know.
Love it. Final question, my friend. If you could teach one lesson about Samoan culture and language to young people, what would it be? Respect clearly is one, but if you could... Yeah, so the question is, if you could teach one lesson about Samoan culture and language to young people, say in Aotearoa, New Zealand, what would it be?
Being proud of being Samoan. So I growing up, it was a bit tough to really embrace Samoan because the ways of discipline was such that I thought, I'd rather be Palangi, you know. So I'd embrace kind of fantasies of being a white person, and then over time you realise, actually there are some cool things about being Samoan and being some gems, and seeing that as something that God has made me.
Yes.
He didn't make me Māori or Palangi, he made me Samoan. There must be something about that, you know. It wasn't a mistake, you know, and so it's to celebrate that.
Yes.
Well, who am I to say God made a mistake?
Yes.
The Creator made a mistake. So I'd say be proud.
Yeah.
If our young ones, be proud of that, regardless of where you are on your journey. Yeah, that'd be my one lesson.
I know that growing up, and like I said, our neighbours were Samoan, they've kind of gone in it, so it's gone Samoan Tongan. But growing up, though, I mean, the things I tend to remember within that Samoan house was the shell necklaces over pictures of loved ones, the smell of coconut oil and Coke bottles, because they, and what do you call it, brother, when someone hurts themselves and then someone will come and try to massage the leg, and they're screaming, but they're being, you know, this is the stuff that I tend to think about Samoan culture.
That 4-4 is seen as it's got to hurt for it to be working.
I see,
and so the cries is that it's working.
Oh wow!
But really, ACC claim potentially. So obviously, we had workshops on even the tattoo to Funga. We had some good health and safety workshops as they brought out kind of protocols and kind of bringing practices here. because we had that one incident. I think there's very few that do get hurt by skin infection.
Right.
But he would have had other comorbidities too.
I see.
It's still highlighted how we're doing these practices safely.
Yes.
So like before as well. And
yeah. Well, my example was my friend that got hit with a kitty, but the ball smacked up against us and he fell on the ground. And then his dad came over and he looked more fearful of what was going to happen rather than the ball that had hit him on the legs. I'll never forget it.
I know. It's so cool. My dad used to fall for my back. He used to do it real, when I had sore back, he'd do some real good one. I do that with my older boy.
Right.
And he loves it. He loves to fall for.
Yeah.
And I say, that's cool. My middle boy, not so much, but because they go gym quite a bit, it's always their traps. Or
I see. Yes.
A little bit of a neck thing, so I'll do that. But I think those practices should be more celebrated. You know, they get lost because we've taken a pathway that was far away from midi and whatnot. But there were practices our parents had. Even seamstresses. Everyone had a sewing machine in the village because it's cheaper to get the material and do ready for the big church day or big celebration fair day to sew it. So my mum had patterns galore, and she would make us, or my grandma would make us clothes out of what looked like curtain material.
Right.
We would wear it to school. So there's those things that, as you said.
Yeah.
What was the connection? What was the reference?
Oh no, I was just thinking of sharing my own childhood memories.
Yeah. So I've gone into kind of practices in general that
beautiful.
And rongoa and Samoa, you know, when we had medication, that ginger, we used to drink it. We used to abhor it. It was the worst feeling.
That's what I got right here. Ginger and soda water, my friend.
Yeah. So learning later the medicinal qualities of ginger, and and then we had the handkerchief or the nappy around it like a scarf. I think it was like supposed to be a scarf, like when we had the flu or cold.
Yes.
So when I think of fall, I think about that kind of general kind of of rongoa or Samoan practice, and they still do. They still use it. The coconut oil, the smell of it. It was everywhere, but they used it for massaging. And the tea leaves would be, you put it and they rub it on your back or run it over the I think you got some tea leaves around here. You see them growing everywhere. So it's quite cool that they can be planted. So the purple and then the big leaves.
Final thoughts, my friend. We're heading towards the finish line.
Awesome.
Final thoughts for this podcast?
Final thoughts.
Yeah.
Thanks for helping me dig into my the cerebral.
Oh yeah, very good, sir. Ditto.
Okay, trying to frame some of these things. So I think it's always great to be able to bring up. Like now I'm 50. I have a bit of a take on what being Samoan means to me, and I still feel like, you know, there's still lots, but I'm I still feel a little bit if I don't know enough, and I'd like to be able to converse. So there's something I'd like to still be able to converse in Samoan. So this podcast helps spur up those things. And you look at the purpose of it, where would I need it? Well, there's probably less need for it now, apart from coming together for funerals. For events, where to show connection. Now I think about that for our makais that are here. Where do they activate that?
If
they don't go to church, then you got very little option because we're not in the village. You're in Waikato in the city. So I guess for me and my role, there's opportunities to do that because we're Pacific. We can pretty much be bilingual every time we open up. So it's been helpful for me. Knowing that maybe 10 years ago I had nothing to offer, even in my introductions and my mihi. Now I've got something to jam. And people might hear it time and time again, but I think some others might be the first time they hear it. So it can be encouraging. Oh, Bruce can say a little bit of, then I can add a few more.
Pulotu Bruce, thank you for your time, your alofa, your energy. It's always good to see you, my beautiful brother.
Apatei.
And on that note, beautiful people, that brings to the end our podcast for Samoan Language Week. I think the next one's coming up is Tongan Language Week, so whiwhi hake. The gates of the Upper Marae are now closing. Mauga.
Magical world.